Okay, welcome to Proverbs 9. This is the end of the first section of Proverbs. Up to this point, we've seen father-son discourses and we've seen dialogue from Lady Wisdom. In those father-son discourses, remember, really, as the reader, this is one place that you're supposed to put yourself in place of the son, or put yourself in place of the child, and you're supposed to receive this wisdom much the same way the son was supposed to receive this wisdom. And so the father was encouraging the son to embrace wisdom, to seek out wisdom, to remain faithful in marriage, to avoid the temptation of adultery. Remember, if you come to the door of temptation, get away as quickly as possible. Try not to go anywhere near that door, but if you find yourself at that door, don't reach down for the knob. Do not go in if the door is open. Get out of there as quickly as possible and get home as soon as you can, is kind of the idea here. Now, as we come to Proverbs 9, now we kind of, with Proverbs 1 through 8 in mind, we have to make a decision. And so there's 3 sections in Proverbs 9. So we've got our first section, which is verses 1 through 6. We've got a second section, which is 7 to 12. And we've got a third section here, which is 13 to 18. And our decision really revolves around, are we going to pick Lady Wisdom, who invites us in the first section, or are we going to choose Lady Folly, who is kind of a new character, who's actually kind of been here all along, but she's been here kind of like a ninja. She's been silent in a way. And she has an invitation kind of in the last section here. So let's just kind of dive into this. So looking at the first section, again, verses 1 through 6, we see wisdom where it says, "Wisdom has built her house. She has hewn her 7 pillars. She has slaughtered her beasts. She has mixed her wine. She has also set her table." And then in verse 5, it says, "Come, eat of my bread and drink of the wine I have mixed." So this is Lady Wisdom inviting you in, inviting you to sit down and just consume what she has, and to really just ingest it and let it nourish you. Let it nourish you spiritually and emotionally and physically. And that's her call to you. And she says, leave your simple ways and live and walk in the way of insight. Remember, this is the way, right? So to live in the way of wisdom, or to live in the way of insight. We move to the second section here, and this section's a little strange because it seems like it doesn't quite fit, but what we see here is we see a lot of talk about the scoffer here, and basically what this section is talking about. And let me just read some of this to you. So in verse 7, "Whoever corrects a scoffer gets himself abuse, and he who reproves a wicked man incurs injury." So do not reprove a scoffer, or he will hate you. But reprove a wise man, and he will love you. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be still wiser. Teach a righteous man, and he will increase in learning. And kind of the idea here is that if you give someone constructive criticism, they can react in 2 ways. They can get better from it, or they can take offense to it. Consider yourself for a moment. If someone gives you constructive criticism, do you get offended, or do you get better? Do you take that constructive criticism? Do you take it to heart, process it, and be like, you know what? You're right. And then you come out on the other side better, stronger, wiser. Or do you hear that constructive criticism and you take it personally, and you get offended, and you start a ruckus? The way of wisdom is obviously receiving constructive criticism and processing it and getting better because of it. Whereas the way of folly would say you get constructive criticism and you take offense to it, you get mad about it, and you steam off or what have you. And so that's kind of the idea here. And we move on in verse 10, and we see the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. We've seen this before. We saw this in Proverbs 1:7. And so in verse 11, we see, "For by me your days will be multiplied, and years will be added to your life. If you are wise for yourself. If you scoff, you alone will bear it." So it kind of connects to Lady Wisdom's invitation in the first section, but it's also kind of strange at the same time. When we get to the last section here, starting in verse 13, this is the invitation from Lady Folly. And it says that Lady Folly is loud, seductive, and knows nothing. Now, if there was ever a combination in a partner, that's the one you want right there. Not. Yeah, she's loud, seductive, and knows nothing. She sits at the door of her house and takes a seat on the highest places of the town, and she calls to those who pass by. Like Lady Wisdom, she calls to those who pass by, and she says, hey, whoever is simple, hey, turn in here. If you're simple, come on in here, come on in here. And whoever lacks sense, she says, hey, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. So basically, bread eaten in secret, stolen bread, it's a good thing. It tastes great. It tastes great. This is the mentality of Lady Folly. This is, again, it goes back to that theology of paths. So you've got the path of righteousness, and you've got the path of folly. So you've got the path of wisdom and the path of folly. And that's really what the decision has to be here. Do you choose Lady Wisdom in the right path, or do you choose Lady Folly in the wrong path? And then Lady Folly's invitation closes, but he who does not know that the dead are there, that her guests are in the depths of Sheol. So if there's ever any reason to avoid Lady Folly, there you go. So yeah, you've got a choice to make. So reading Proverbs up to this point, which direction are you going to go? Are you going to continue in this Proverbs challenge on the path of Lady Wisdom, or are you going to say, no, I'm done, and you're going to choose Lady Folly? Now, I'm somewhat kidding, but you do have a choice to make in life. Are you going to live the way of righteousness? Are you going to seek out wisdom? Are you going to make decisions based on wisdom and not based on emotion? Are you going to try to live a Proverbs lifestyle, or are you just going to kind of just wing it, do your own thing? Whenever someone criticizes you, you're just going to take offense to it, and you're going to live the way of folly. So again, you have a choice to make, and that's what we're confronted with in Proverbs 9. So choose wisely, and I hope to see you in the next video.